Steve. And maybe the best movie that features a character named Steve this year. I could be wrong, but I think the only other one is Minecraft, right? There's no other. Because Captain America had Sam. There's no more Steve in that universe. He's kind of dead. So I guess this is the best movie of 2025 that features Steve. Tim Milliance. Oh, I'm butchering that name. Second project with Killian Murphy within this decade alone, and also a Netflix original. I could be wrong on that, but I'm 99% sure it's Netflix original, and it is fantastic. It is very short. It is very sweet. It is beautiful. This is kind of like what movies is about, and I'm kind of surprised this is a Netflix original. And the fact that this didn't even smell the theaters is very unfortunate because, one, I think Killian Murphy's having one hell of a decade being in this, Oppenheimer, Quiet Place Part 2, and I think he was briefly mentioned in 28 Years Later, and of course the other project he has with Tim Millions, which I have not watched yet, but after seeing Steve, I'm definitely gonna catch it as soon as I can. And I mean, if this is a duo that's gonna keep working together, and this is the type of shit they put out, then I'm really excited for them to keep working more and more together. I think Killian Murphy is finding his swing back into things, finding his groove back into things, I guess. And with Steve, I think he's done a phenomenal job. This is one of my favorite performances of him ever. Being able to play a teacher who's helping out these kids. I can't really say they're kids. These teens who've done some bad stuff in the past, and he plays this like depressing but also very caretaking role in this movie so well. I mean, there's a reason why he's regarded as one of the best actors currently. I mean, he can probably do anything he wants, but sadly, he chooses to keep doing these depressing ass roles. And I mean, he's just so good at them. He's just so good at being depressing. It is really a shame. I don't know if his backstory in real life, but Cillian Murphy's way too good at doing these depressing ass roles, and he kills it again. Like he just kills it again. As for everything else about this movie, acting wise, I think everyone else is pretty damn phenomenal too. Every single one of the students, especially um oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. I think Jay Lierko. Oh, I hope I'm saying that name correctly. The person who plays Shy, he was fucking great. And as for other kids, just being like tiny supporting roles, getting a few lines here and there, and even when they're doing the fights, I think they're all brilliant. They all do amazing work. But Jay as Shy is amazing, and it's a shame this movie's so short because there's never a character I wanted to learn more this year alone in film than Shy's character. We do get a few scenes here and there, as you see with the scene where he gets the call from his mom, I believe, and she says you can never come back. The scene where I'll talk about that in a bit. The scene where he walks into the lake and he comes back and is throwing rocks and everything. I mean, everything Shay does. That's how they make it sound in the movie, like Shay. Everything Shy does in this movie is amazing. But obviously, when you have Killian Murphy, you're probably never going to be the best actor in a movie unless you're a certain couple other people. But Killian Murphy is just really great in this movie. The other staff members, which I sadly can't remember their names off the top of my head, I think they're all fine. You don't get much of them, but when you do, it's pretty good. Especially the scene where it's Steve and uh, Amanda together. I thought that was when they're in the room and he's drinking. I thought all that was great. A lot of scenes with Tracy Ullman. I remember someone's name. She all the scenes with her and Killian Murphy were all amazing. They had amazing synergy, not necessarily a connection, but they had amazing synergy with each other during this movie. And man, I really wish this wasn't an hour and a half. It is very sweet, short and sweet, but there's so much I want to learn about almost everybody. You do have like the little synopsis Killian Murphy does at the end of the movie where he's talking about every single person, and I need more. This could have been a TV show, and I probably would have watched it. If they adapted this into a Netflix show, that'd be awesome. But this is a movie just so sweet. By the way, this movie looks fucking gorgeous. It's so warm, and the lighting is never horrendous, and you need something like that in a movie like this that is very dark, subtly dark throughout the movie. Of course, at the end, which I'll get to in a little bit, uh, the undertones of this movie are just very dark, and I'm happy they didn't try to make everything so bright and glaring and disgusting. This is a really pretty movie. um, I'll just get into it. The ending is probably the best part about this movie. I don't think I've seen anyone talk about the ending yet. I could be wrong, but uh, having Steve and Shy kill each other kill themselves at the end of the movie, and kind of leaving it up to the audience to figure out, did they kill themselves, or maybe it was just a happy ending, and maybe Steve is putting the bottle away. Maybe he's not going up into the attic, and that wasn't his last goodbye to his children and his wife, but everything about it just felt so, he's just gone. Like everything he's worked for and and thrive to be to make these kids better is just, it's all gone. And yeah, it is probably that. And then you have Shay or Shy. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna keep doing that for the rest of this review. Shy, who goes into the lake, and we don't really technically ever see him come out of it. You have the scene where he's throwing the rocks, but when that scene starts, no one's there, and the windows are just breaking, and there's no actual rocks being thrown. You just saw the windows broken, and that was it. So we have to assume that's just a metaphor for Shay's gone, and now that he was like the last uh piece of the bridge that was just, and it just broke, and everything just fell apart the second he went away. And they try to trick you by having everyone dogpile on him and to make you think he's alive, but um him having absolutely no mention afterwards. And then you have the Steve scene immediately afterwards, and then the credits start with a mental health number, which of course this whole movie is about Steve's mental health, and of course Shay's mental health, but Shy's mental health. But I thought that was a brilliant ending. Like, you couldn't have ended this movie any better, just having, leaving it up to the audience to believe whether or not it was a happy ending. But in my opinion, it certainly wasn't. And I think that was the best. I think that's the best way to do it. Having Steve just end it all. And you don't, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of this movie, you don't see his wife or children prior to the ending. So it's just even more heartbreaking that, that's the first time you see his family, and the last you and him will probably ever see it ever. Steve is absolutely wonderful. It's a shame this was a Netflix original and it's going to be stuck on Netflix for the rest of its life, and it's never going to see theaters. But I'm hoping this gets nominated for something at the Oscars, because there's one thing the Oscars is good at, is getting these streaming only movies into theaters and having more people see it. Because I have seen no one talk about this movie, and it's such a shame. Because Cillian Murphy's an amazing actor. I think everyone else acted pretty damn good in this movie, and Tim Mielentz, while I haven't seen any of his other projects, I'm going to check them out soonly after this in my next review. So yeah, that's Steve. I feel like I was a bit jumping around all over the place during my Steve review, but to be honest, I don't really have any. I just wish this movie was longer. I don't have any problems with it. It is pretty. It's a pretty movie, well acted, very nice. I can't say tone, but a very darker tone with a nice message towards the end. I mean, leaving up everything to the audience is always is sometimes a mistake for directors, but I think the way Tim Mielens does this is just absolutely brilliant. Having the invisible person breaking the windows and ends up being Shy immediately afterwards somehow was just genius. And I mean, I can't believe how amazing Killian Murphy was in this. It is my, I think I like this more for him than I did Oppenheimer. This movie was great. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's only an hour and a half, and it is on Netflix, which means it's pretty easy to find, if you get what I mean. Uh, that's, I guess that's it for my Steve review. I'm sorry this was a bit all over the place, but I didn't know how to talk about this movie. It's always harder for me, and I'm trying to get better. I said the same thing during my Sorry Baby review, and I'm sorry again because I don't know why I struggle to do this yet. Maybe I need scripts for these type of videos. This is very hard for me.